2,000 years ago, in the heart of Rome, a thunderous crowd gathered beneath a blazing sun. Tens of thousands of voices merged into one, echoing across the stone walls of the Colosseum. On the sands below, two men prepared to fight, not for country, not for family, but for survival, and for the entertainment of an empire. This is a story of Rome and its gladiators. At its height, the Roman Empire stretched across Europe, Africa, and Asia. Rome was not just a city, it was the heartbeat of a civilization that mastered engineering, law, and conquest. But with all this power came an endless hunger for spectacle. Romans craved entertainment, and none would become more legendary than the gladiator games. These games began not as sport, but as ritual. In early Rome, they were part of funeral ceremonies. Slaves or prisoners would fight to the death in honor of the deceased, their blood offered as a sacred sacrifice. Yet the Romans soon realized the truth. People loved the violence. What began as a ritual transformed into entertainment on a massive scale. By the time the Colosseum opened in 80 CE, gladiator fights were no longer about the dead. They were about power, politics, and control. Most gladiators were slaves, criminals, or prisoners of war. They had little choice in their fate. But some men volunteered to become gladiators, signing contracts for the chance at glory. These octorotti sought fame, wealth, or redemption, and a few even achieved it. Victorious gladiators were idolized, adored by crowds, and even wooed by Roman women. They were celebrated like modern celebrities, proof that even in chains, a man could win the love of the people. The greatest stage of all was the Colosseum. Rising high above the city, it could seat up to 80,000 people. Beneath its floor, trapdoors, tunnels, and cages held gladiators and wild beasts, ready to be unleashed in shocking spectacles. On its sands, lions, elephants, and crocodiles fought each other and man. The Colosseum wasn't just an arena. It was a symbol of Rome's power over the world. The last gladiator died in the year 404 AD. But who were the gladiators of Rome? These men were trained in schools called ludi, where they lived under strict discipline and trained for one thing: to fight to the death in the Colosseum. Each gladiator had a unique fighting style. The Murmillo was a heavy hitter with his big shield and sword. The Retiarius was a nimble fighter who used a net and trident. And the Thracian was a deadly swordsman with a curved blade. They were given a simple diet of beans and barley, which earned them the nickname Barleymen. But every lesson, every meal, every drop of sweat was preparation for the same thing: the brutal test of survival in front of a roaring crowd. For gladiators, every battle was a gamble with life itself. Not every fight ended in death, but every fight carried the shadow of it. A defeated gladiator could beg for mercy, but the final decision lay with the crowd or the emperor. The famous thumbs up, thumbs down gesture is debated by historians, but its meaning was clear. Mercy or death, a crowd's favor could save a man, but its fury could end him. For the emperors, the games were more than sport, they were politics. The phrase "bread and circuses" summed it up perfectly. Feed the people and entertain them, and they will remain loyal. Gladiators were pawns in this system, their blood spilled to distract the masses from hardship or rebellion. Some emperors even entered the arena themselves. The most notorious was Commodus, who fought as a gladiator, though under staged and unfair conditions. His appearances shocked Rome's elites, but the common people adored it. For them, even the emperor's presence in the arena proved the power of the games. Yet Rome changed. As Christianity spread across the empire, the games were increasingly seen as cruel and immoral. By the 5th century AD, gladiatorial combat had lost its place in Roman society. In 404 AD, the games were officially banned. The Colosseum, once alive with cheers and bloodshed, grew silent. The gladiators' age had ended, but their story did not die. Their courage, their suffering, and their strange role as both slaves and heroes kept their memory alive. Even now, the word gladiator conjures images of strength, defiance, and the will to fight against impossible odds. So who were the gladiators of Rome? They were victims, but also legends. They were men who stood on the sands of the Colosseum, facing death for the entertainment of thousands. and in doing so, they achieved immortality. The Roman Empire may have crumbled, but the gladiators remain eternal. Their battles, their struggles, their spirit echoed through history, reminding us of the thin line between survival and spectacle. When you hear the roar of the crowd, when you see the flash of steel, when you feel the sting of the whip, you are transported back in time to an era when men fought not just for their lives, but for our entertainment. And as the years pass and the centuries turn, their story continues to captivate us. It is a story of courage, of brutality, of humanity at its best and worst. If you want to learn more about the gladiators, if you want to walk among the ruins of the Colosseum and feel the spirit of Rome, then come with me on this journey. I promise you will never forget it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our historical tales.